Mark chapter 6, verses 48 to 53. Then he saw them straining at rowing, for the wind was against them. Now about the fourth watch of the night, he came to them, walking on the sea, and would have passed them by. And when they saw him walking on the sea, they supposed it was a ghost, and cried out, for they all saw him and were troubled. But immediately he talked with them and said to them, "Be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid." Then he went up into the boat to them, and the wind ceased. And they were greatly amazed in themselves beyond measure and marveled. For they had not understood about the loaves, because their heart was hardened. When they had crossed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret and anchored there. The disciples got into the boat, as their master had commanded, but did so reluctantly, dismayed that they could not crown him as the king of Israel that very afternoon. Instead of rowing diligently to the other side of the lake, they were consumed by thoughts of their unfinished business. They couldn't understand why Jesus suffered patiently, while the Jewish leaders called him the captain of heresy. He had more than enough power to conquer them and proclaim himself king. As these kinds of thoughts grew in their hearts, doubts began to cloud their minds, and their faith was shaken. The lake was filled with their complaints, doubts, and wavering faith. When things go against our plans, our hearts become just like this, a sea of complaints and doubts. While the disciples' heart was shaking, a wind arose and started to shake the lake and the boat. It quickly grew stronger, almost out of their control. And now their complaints were gone, and their only thoughts were about their survival and safe arrival on the other side of the lake. Although the wind brought the suffering, it banished their complaints. The strong winds in our lives sometimes have the same role. Jesus, seeing them from the shore, walked across the water in order to extend his saving hands to them. However, when they saw him, they thought he was a ghost and were terrified. Instead of seeing Jesus, one who had come to save them, they saw a ghost, one who would bring them harm. Jesus walked on the water to save the disciples. When the boat of our life is shaken and in danger, the way he comes to us might be different. No matter how it looks, it is Jesus' saving hand. Suffering from a physical illness, failing an important exam, losing a job, all of these look like ghosts that have come to harm and destroy us. Yet they could be saving hands that lead us down the right path towards salvation, fulfillment of our goals and happier lives. Jesus said to the frightened disciples, "Be of good cheer, it is I. Do not be afraid." When he steps into the midst of our suffering and shaking, he reveals who he is. No matter what kind of fearful wind is blowing in our lives, if Jesus says, "Be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid," our trembling will be transformed from terror to hope. When Jesus got into the boat, the wind calmed down. Take a moment to close your eyes and imagine you are there. May Jesus step into the boat of our lives and calm the terrifying winds that frequently beset us.